From wooden tubes to nuclear giants, the evolution of submarines. Beneath the waves lies a hidden world, a world where steel giants prowl in silence. They can remain unseen for months, armed with enough power to change the course of history. But did you know that the idea of underwater vessels dates back centuries? From wooden rowboats to nuclear-powered giants, submarines have come a long way. But how did they evolve? And what makes them one of the most powerful machines ever built? Today, we dive deep into the history of submarines. Chapter 1, The First Submarine Concepts, 1500s to 1700s. One of the earliest concepts of a submarine comes from none other than Leonardo da Vinci. In the late 1400s, he sketched designs for an underwater vessel, but never built one. Fast forward to the early 1600s, Dutch engineer Cornelis Drebbel built the first working submarine, a wooden boat covered in greased leather. It could stay underwater for 15 minutes and was powered by rowers. It wasn't fast, and it wasn't practical for war, but it proved one thing: humans could travel underwater. Chapter 2, The First Combat Submarines, 1776-1860s. Imagine being locked inside a tiny, hand-cranked vessel, trying to sink a massive warship. That was the terrifying reality of the first combat submarines. In 1776, the Turtle became the first military submarine. Built by David Bushnell, this one-man, hand-cranked submarine was designed to attack British ships during the American Revolution. It could dive, move, and attach explosives to enemy ships. But it never successfully sank one. During the American Civil War, the H.L. Hunley became the first submarine to sink a warship. It successfully attacked the USS Housatonic, but sank shortly after, taking its own crew with it. Would you have volunteered for such a dangerous mission? Let us know in the comments. Chapter 3, The First Attacking Submarine, the Ottoman Empire's Innovation, 1880s. Did you know that the Ottoman Empire was the first to fire a torpedo from a submerged submarine? In 1886, during the reign of Sultan Abdul Hamid II, the Ottoman Empire introduced the Abdulhamid submarine, the world's first submarine to fire a torpedo while submerged. This advanced vessel was built in Istanbul and revolutionized naval warfare. This was a groundbreaking moment in military history, proving that submarines could strike unseen from beneath the waves. The Ottoman Empire ordered two of these submarines, the Abdulhamid and the Abdulmajid, marking the beginning of modern underwater warfare. Chapter 4, World War I and II, the Golden Age of Submarines. The early submarines were slow and unreliable, but by World War I, they became the most feared weapon of the sea. World War I changed everything. Germany introduced the deadly U-boats, capable of sinking enemy ships from miles away. One of the most infamous moments? The sinking of the RMS Lusitania in 1915 by a German U-boat, pushing the US closer to entering the war. By World War II, submarines had evolved into deadly war machines, with improved torpedoes, radar, and stealth technology. German U-boats terrorized the Atlantic, while the US used submarines to cripple Japan's supply lines in the Pacific. Chapter 5, The Nuclear Era, 1950s, today. What if a submarine could stay underwater for months, without ever surfacing? The nuclear age made that a reality. In 1954, the game changed forever. The USS Nautilus became the world's first nuclear-powered submarine, allowing it to stay submerged for months instead of days. Today's submarines are silent, fast, and incredibly deadly. Armed with nuclear warheads, they are part of a nation's ultimate defense strategy. How do submarines work? How do submarines dive, navigate, and stay hidden underwater for months? Submarines dive and resurface using ballast tanks. When these tanks fill with water, the submarine sinks. When they are emptied, it rises. Modern submarines use nuclear reactors for unlimited underwater range and sonar to detect objects in complete darkness. Chapter 6: The Future of Submarines. Could the future of warfare and deep-sea exploration be fully autonomous submarines? AI-powered submarines could soon patrol the oceans without human crews. Meanwhile, new exploration subs are diving deeper than ever, unlocking the secrets of the ocean. Here are some fascinating facts about how deep submarines can dive. Average depth of military submarines. Most modern military submarines, like the US Los Angeles class or Russian Akula class, have a maximum depth of about 300 to 600 meters, 1,000 to 2,000 feet. However, they rarely go that deep in normal operations. Their operating depth is usually around 240 to 300 meters, 800 to 1,000 feet. Deepest diving military submarine. The Soviet K-222, Papa class, submarine reportedly had a crush depth of 800 to 1,000 meters, 2,600 to 3,300 feet. But the deepest recorded dive by a military submarine was the Soviet K-278 Komsomolets, which reached 1,020 meters, 3,350 feet, before sinking in 1989. Deepest diving submarine ever. The Trieste, a deep diving research submersible, holds the record for the deepest dive. In 1960, it reached 10,911 meters, 35,797 feet, in the Mariana Trench, the deepest known point in the ocean. 4. Nuclear submarines versus diesel submarines. Nuclear submarines can dive much deeper than diesel-electric submarines because they have stronger hulls and don't rely on oxygen. Diesel-electric submarines typically dive to 200 to 300 meters, 650 to 1,000 feet. 5. What happens if a submarine dives too deep? Every submarine has a crush depth, where the water pressure becomes too strong, and the hull collapses. For modern submarines, this is usually around 1,000 meters, 3,300 feet, but they never dive that deep to avoid disaster. From wooden rowboats to nuclear giants, submarines have come a long way. Their evolution is proof that no frontier is beyond our reach, not even the deep sea. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments, what's your favorite submarine in history?